What's going on, everyone? My name is Tom from Dreadlabs, and today we're going to make this in Cinema 4D.
Dreadlabs.
Alright guys, so I was just exploring this kind of experiment with a student of mine, and then I figured let's just do a video on this because I thought it was a pretty cool and interesting effect. Basically, I'm going to teach you a little bit about effectors, specifically the shader effector in the cloner. Alright, just for the sake of this tutorial, let me just move this thing to the left here. So yeah, if you're looking for the properties, yours will probably be on the bottom right here, but this is just so my webcam can stay visible. Alright, so first let's delete everything, and I'm going to start from scratch. So the first thing we want to do is add a cube to our scene. And for the cube we want the size to be 50 by 5 by 50. And this will leave us with this little tile. And we want to put this tile in a cloner. So I'm just holding Alt or Option on my keyboard and clicking on the cloner. So underneath the Object tab from the cloner, decrease the size to 50 on the X and the Z axis so that these will stick together perfectly. And I'm going to increase the count to 10 by 10. Right, so next we're going to make sure that the cloner is selected in the layer menu. And underneath the cloner tab, you can see these blue icons, and basically these blue icons are called effectors, and you can apply them to the cloner. So for this tutorial we're going to use the shader. So I'm going to try to explain a little bit what about the shader does. Alright, so with the shader you can actually transform each single tile right now based on a shader image. So before we're actually going to do that, we're going to go to the parameter effect, and we're going to make sure on what we're going to affect here. Because at this moment in time we are affecting the scale of the tiles and we don't really need that. So under parameter, let's check off the scale and check on the position. And specifically I'm going to type in 500 centimeters in the y-axis. As you can see, now our whole plane is moved up 500 centimeters, but that's because we haven't entered the shader yet. So under the shading tab, we'll click on this drop down button and we'll click on noise. And as you can see, now all of these tiles are in a random position. So I want to get a little bit more control over this. So we're going to click into the noise. I'm going to scale the global scale up to 10,000%. Basically rendering us with this like little gray area. So what's happening here is based on the light values and the dark values of this noise, each tile will move up either 0 centimeters or 500 centimeters max. So if we increase the low clip and the high clip, we can make the contrast a little bit further. And as you can see, based on the light and dark values, our tiles are now moving up. So the cool part about this is in Cinema 4D, you can actually animate your noise. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to go to the animation speed and we're going to type in 1. You can see that there's stuff moving now, but we cannot really see what the actual animation is doing. So if we go right click on this noise preview and click on the animate, you can actually see what's happening here. So now if we play this, you can see that the tiles are moving randomly. We want to have a little bit more control over this. So for example, I want this to loop seamlessly. If you look at the bar down here, we have 90 frames, which basically means that our project is lasting 3 seconds. So if we go to the loop period here and we'll type in 3, this will now make it so that in 3 seconds this thing will seamlessly loop. Alright, let's decrease the low and the high clip a little bit. And if you're not satisfied with the type of animation that you're doing, you can always change the seed of your animation. So if we go to the seed tab here, I actually prefer this one better because it's like kind of wavy and bouncy. It's really nice. Alright, so we'll click on the back buttons here, and now we're back at the shader tab. So this is pretty cool, but we can even go one step further and make this even weirder. So if we go back to parameter, and for example check on the rotation box, and let's just have this thing rotate 360 degrees. So based on the light values, this thing will also now just rotate as well as move upward or downward. Again, we can also do this with the scale, having it scale up or down. So for example, so yeah, you can use this for some crazy interesting results. I really like how this one turned out actually. But yeah, if you don't want to use a noise and animate it, you can also just use a gradient here. So instead of noise, we can also go to gradient. And as you can see, this is now standing still because we haven't animated this or something. But yeah, you can see the darker this gradient gets, the lower it goes, and the further it goes up, the more it rotates and the more the higher the position will be. I'm just gonna leave it at this. Alright guys, fairly quick tutorial, but I thought it was a really fun one, so I just wanted to share this. And if you want to get the project file for this will be available on my Patreon. So if you don't know, I run a Patreon page where you can find all of the project files from all of my tutorials. You can get a 15% discount in my asset web store, as well as an exclusive Discord role. So yeah, if you want to become a patron, there's a link in the description. And if you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments, or you can join us on Discord. And with all of that being said, I want to thank you for watching. This was Tom from Dreadlabs tuning out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.